sure that everybody knows who's actually producing this. I want to thank Lisa Clay from MASSCAP, who's our producer today, who's communications director. Kathleen McDonald is also on the line, and Kathleen is our director, actually the director of our VITA, coordinator of our VITA network. I also want to thank certainly Representative Blay and Senator Comerford for joining us. And we also will be hearing from our friends from the IRS, Ron Dayat and his colleague, as well as others. And as other folks join, we will certainly be introducing them, especially legislators. As I said, we wanted today to mark a kickoff. We're also pleased that I think a friend of ours from State House News had joined us. We're pleased to be able to kick off the tax filing season. And this event is virtual, and that's appropriate because many of our sites are using a virtual approach. And that makes sense in this time. It's part of our effort to reach out and to thank our low-income taxpayers, to thank the volunteers at the volunteer income tax assistance sites, to thank our allies and our IRS partners and our elected officials for tremendous support, and to recognize and celebrate, if you will, the power of the Earned Income Tax Credit and the power of volunteer income tax assistance and free tax prep working together. We are going to be recording this event, as I think you see at the top left-hand corner. As I was saying, the past year has been very challenging, but we all have responded to the pandemic in many ways to ensure the safety of the people that we serve and also the volunteers, taxpayers, and our staff. There are many virtues of VITA, which we will be going through. I won't review all of them by any means. But we are really pleased to be able not only to be talking to allies and friends, but also to volunteer, which is the heart and soul of what we do at volunteer and tax assistance sites, and to somebody who benefits as well from accessing free tax prep. There are 80 VITA sites across the state, close to 500 IRS certified volunteers serving about 33,000 taxpayers, bringing in about $60 million. Those resources in EITC and in other tax credits represent an economic, if you will, mini economic stimulus packages throughout the state. And we're really pleased to be able to do that because we are supported by resources from the IRS, federal resources, and then also state resources. And we thank Representative Blay and Senator Comerford for that. So with no further ado, I wanted to ask our first speaker to join us for the on the ground section. And that's Ansel Tejada, Financial Literacy Coordinator of the Greater Lawrence Community Action Council. Ansel.
Hi, good morning, guys. So my name is Ansel Tejada. I am the Financial Literacy Coordinator for Greater Lawrence Community Action Council. Along with that, I'm also the VITA Coordinator at Greater Lawrence Community Council. And my aspect of it is this has taken us on a journey overall over the last year. So last year we started out obviously with feet on the ground, boots on the ground, as they say. So we were seeing clients, and we were seeing all our clients face to face. And it's just the norm of how we did things. And from there, obviously, we got hit with the pandemic and we had to evolve. We had to change, not only for ourselves, for our clients, but also for our volunteers. They're the heart and soul of our organization, of what we do. Our volunteers really make it possible that we serve all the clients that we serve. Serving over 18,000 clients overall over the last year. That makes a big difference. So we needed to make a change. So we went virtual. We test piloted different things to go virtual last year. One of them being what we're using this year, which is the Code for America program, which allows us to be completely virtual and have our clients not be face-to-face, and also have our volunteers not be face-to-face. And that is going to be the big change for this year, if we kind of think about it. So this year we are evolving into a completely virtual world for the most part, and we're going to be accepting all of our clients in a cloud-based format, which is going to allow us to better serve our clients and better serve our volunteers. So if you think about what we offer to the community with our services, is is money that they definitely do need in our communities. With those 18,000 clients that as I mentioned before, on average, if you really think about it, it's about $100 to $150 to process a tax return. So if you take those 18,000 clients, we are saving then about $2.5 million just in tax preparation fees. Along with that, our promotion of the EITC program brings in way over that amount with an average EITC of about $2,000 per client. You could imagine the savings and the money that's bringing into our clients as we promote those different programs that we have. So the fact that we are capable of pivoting at the point that we did last year and making the changes to this year so that we could help our clients is really going to make an impactful and it's really going to make an impact to our communities in the way that we are capable of serving them. I'll give you my own personal experience in my location. I service the Merrimack Valley area, sort of the Lawrence, the Haverhill, North Andover, and Andover area. Last year alone, we serviced 273 clients. Out of those 273 clients, we brought in roughly about 200,000 just in EITC alone. And with an average return of about $2,041. So if we're capable of taking those same numbers and expanding on them, because of what the pandemic has caused us to do, which is create different partnership and expand, it's going to be even bigger. So this year we have expanded and we have grown and we have created partnerships with other organizations. I've partnered up with Global CTI and I've partnered up with Hands to Help in order to expand our reach and make it more accessible to more people around my area. And I think that's really going to make a big difference as far as how we get to our clients and in which way do we get to our clients. So I would I would like to now introduce to you really what becomes the heart and soul of our organization, and just give her perspective of why she does it and why she keeps on coming back. And she does it. She's done it for about 5 years now. So she is a vet. She's a veteran of our VITA program. And she is the heart and soul, as I mentioned, of our organization. So Susan Trotter, she's going to be our volunteer that's going to give her perspective on it.
Susan, you're muted.
Hi, my name is Susan Trottier, and I've been volunteering. This will be my 6th year volunteering. I like doing it. I learn a lot about taxes. I like meeting the people that come in and helping all the low-income family clients that come in through the door.
Awesome. Absolutely. No, honestly, Susan, I got to speak a little bit to Sandra about you, and what she had to say about your work and what you do for the organization is amazing, and what you bring to the clients. We just really want to highlight you and really thank you for all your services that you do. We don't often think that maybe that 1 or 2 or 3 hours of volunteering a week makes a difference, but in all honesty, you bring so much to the table to our clients. So I just want to thank you and give you a standing ovation for what you do.
Thank you very much.
No problem. And now we would love to bring one of our clients that has done the program for multiple years. She is one of Mason Klink's client out in the West. And I would love to bring Nori Del Valle. She is going to give us her perspective as being a client to VITA for a couple of years now, and what brings you to VITA and what keeps on bringing you back. You're muted, Nori.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for letting me speak. I'm not normally like this, but yes, I've been with the program about 5 years, going on 6 now. I'm very pleased to have the VITA program. I could name many reasons, but the main 3 would be: 1, it's not easy to get somebody to help you to do the taxes. Single mom, work at home with the daycare. I have tried prior to this year's, I have exhausted over 6 weeks trying to get help to do taxes. Once I started with under the mock, and I trust, I have no problems. I rely my documents. They're they're available, number 1. And they're able to help you in things that you don't know that you do qualify, even the EIC, which 2 years ago, I purchased a house. I have my own daycare through mock. And the money from the EIC at that time really helped me because I needed to expand a backyard for the kids. They will not approve me until they measure and they have enough space for a backyard. And that was a struggle because that's close to 2 to 3 grants. And I was able to do that. Once I was able to do the backyard, they came and inspected. In a week, I was able to open my daycare. Not opening a daycare means no income for my family. I have 3 girls and a single mom. So it
All right,
was
what's up, man?
it has to be done. It has to be done.
Wanna work on our
Excuse me, you have a question?
Guys, if you're joining,
Iris is on it.
Oh,
I got
okay.
mine. I had speakerphone, right? I'm not listening. I
Okay.
can read lips. Oh,
Nori, I apologize. You're muted again. Sorry. Just we had to mute everybody.
Okay, another thing very important, you do not feel intimidated to go and ask for the help. They make you feel comfortable. Many years ago, over 20, 25 years ago, I had to go on welfare. It was very intimidating for me to go there. It was very hard. And now that I'm okay and I go for the help of the VITA, they make you feel a family. You go there, they help you, service you, work over here, they call back. And Mason, I don't want to separate from Mason. He's been the help there. I mean, it's like, Mason, how do I get this? Don't worry. You provide all the documents, individual folders for the girls or whatever. And it's a relief because it's done and it's done right. And if he finds stuff that he could help and say, no, we're going to do it this way, is the proper way. Okay. You know what I mean? He's very knowledgeable and he's going to be mine for the rest of my career as a daycare provider. I will not let him go. The services are amazing because we have referred other clients through mock, and the parents come and they say, Nori, this is amazing because I didn't know what to do. I didn't know I could have this breakdown. So it makes a difference when they know it's there and it's available for them and they are willing to go. They come back with a positive attitude. And that's the key here. We all in one family, whether rich, whether poor, whatever it is, we're here to help each other. And on the pandemic, we are all together. This is the new normal. So for the clients, for me, it's very comfortable, very available. And I feel in peace once I release my paperwork to Mason. I'm happy because I know it's going to be done right and it's done. So, and it helps because that money was able to start my daycare. And it's been 2 years. And if anybody else takes him, he's mine too. But thank you so much for those services. It really means filling a gap for a lot of parents, for me too. And that's very important because now I have the confidence that it'll be done on time, it'll be done correctly, and I'm in peace. So I'm very, very pleased that you allow these programs to service all of us.
Oh, thank you, Nori. That's wonderful, and we are pleased as well that we're able to help. And we thank Mason, of course, who's coordinator for the program in Fitchburg as well. I want to just a note not only about the work that we're able to do with Nori, but I wanted to circle back to the volunteer aspect and thank Susan. She is one of 500 or about 500 across the state or more actually volunteers who come from various backgrounds and interests, and we know help because they can see the way that what they're doing is so immediately helpful to the people that we serve, like Nori. So thank you both.
Thank you.
Before we move on to the next segment, I just wanted to thank Representative Dahm, who is with us. Thank you, Representative, for joining us. Thank you. Also, our friends from the Treasurer's Office, the Office of Economic Empowerment. Shatia Spruill is with us, and so is Nick Clark. Thank you very much. They run an early sort of a child savings program, which is very important. And also, certainly, we want to thank Dana Ackerman from the Department of Revenue, who is here and has helped us over the years with linking, certainly state and federal when it comes to tax returns and the EITC. If it's okay, I'd like to move on to the program impact section and ask Claire Higgins, who is the Executive Director of Community Action of Pioneer Valley, to help us get started here. Oh.
I know I'm muted. I think I'm okay now. Good morning, everybody. I have the pleasure to introduce two of our members of the legislature, Joe Comerford, and who is our great state senator from Hampshire, Franklin, and Worcester district, and then Natalie Blais, who is the 1st Franklin district. And before I turn it over to them, I just want to note that we run a program in Hampshire and Franklin County, so we have a big geographic area. And our average tax refund is about $2,500, and the average annual gross income is about $13,990, and that's earned income. So this is life-changing money for people in many cases. It really changes the circumstances of their lives, and that's why it's such an important program. Joe and Natalie, I hope you don't mind the informality, my friends, are on the call because they have really helped us secure more state funding for this program. The federal government has always been a good partner. The state has really stepped in to be an incredibly important partner to allow this program to run. Many of us have run it on a shoestring. Even though it's a volunteer program, it doesn't mean it doesn't have costs. And so we have been able to, with the help of the state and federal government, really be much more robust as the years have gone along. And this year especially, we're very grateful for the increase in the funding in the budget. So I really want to hear what both Joe and Natalie have to say about all this, and I'm not sure which one wants to go first. Are we going alphabetically, or are we going by okay, we'll go alphabetically, and I'll turn it over to Rep. Blais.
Oh, I was pointing at Senator Comerford.
But in Zoom land, you were pointing at me.
Oh. Oh, well, thank you all for being here today. It is so nice to see all of your faces. Joe and Claire, it has been such an honor to work with you and alongside you in this effort. Ansel, I thank you for your service and for all of our VITA sites. Susan, thank you for your 6 years of volunteering, to all the volunteers here today and to the 500 plus volunteers across the state. You're really making a difference in people's lives, especially Mason. Mason, it would be great to meet you one day. You're clearly a hero in Nori's eyes, and just, I'm sure, for a number of other constituents across the Commonwealth. Nori, you're amazing. Thank you for sharing your story this morning. It is so powerful for us to hear how these services are impacting people directly. And I just want to really say thank you for taking time this morning to share your personal story with you. I'm so glad to hear how you've been able to rise up and expand. And I love how you talk about this being a family. Because as a family, we're lifting one another up during a really, really difficult time. So thank you all for being here this morning. It's great to see you. You know, I've known about the VITA program. I used to work for Congressman Olver and Congressman McGovern, so there was certainly a recognition at the federal level of the importance of that program. I'm now a second-term legislator. Seeing the impact that we could make at the state level was really, it was really important. And I have to say that even in these difficult budgetary times, the legislature stepped up and really provided a budget that was full of heart and full of compassion, despite the fact that we are in a global pandemic. There was a recognition that we really needed to step it up for the constituents and the residents of the Commonwealth. And I think that you see, as a result of this additional $600,000 invested in the 80 VITA sites across the Commonwealth, that was a direct result of your advocacy. Senator Comerford and I could not have done this. On the House side, Chairman Michaelowicz would not have been able to secure this funding without your advocacy, without you telling your stories. And this is certainly important. We've seen how this pandemic has laid bare the inequities across the Commonwealth, and this keeps money in taxpayer pockets. As Claire mentioned, this keeps $2,500 in people's pockets in our region. I love that we're able to maximize these federal dollars that are coming into the Commonwealth. I love that we're able to stimulate the local economy and make sure that we're paying bills and supporting our local businesses. The thing that I love most about this is the connection that people are able to get to other vital services, whether it's financial literacy or WIC or Head Start. Right now, we know that there is enormous need out there, and the VITA program can be a doorway. It can be an entryway to connections to all of those wraparound services that people really need right now. And so I just want to thank you all for everything that you do every single day, and certainly for being here today. It has been an honor to work alongside you and to support your efforts. And please, we're here all the time for all of you, and don't hesitate to ever call if we can be of assistance to you. So thank you so much for having me here this morning.
Thank you very much. And Senator Comerford, please join us.
Yeah, thank you so much. I just wanted to say, boy, I could, my heart was beating fast as Rep. Lay was speaking. Thank you, Natalie. That was beautiful, and I share your sentiments completely. I'm thrilled, really thrilled and honored to join so many VITA champions this morning. Thank you so much, Joe and MASSCAP and coalition partners for leading. Thank you to the VITA volunteers. Really yours is an uplifting story, and IRS partners and everyone adapting to meet this COVID-19 economic crisis pandemic moment all at the same time. I am really honored to be one of many senators in the Massachusetts Senate who care about VITA, who see the power of VITA, and to fight along fierce advocates like Rep. Lay, and of course, Rep. Dom, who's here as well, who's a champion, and incredible Senate colleagues. And I'm also very, very grateful to the treasurer and her team for their commitment. I want to shout out explicitly Senate Ways and Means Chair Mike Rodrigues, as the representative did for Chair Michaelowicz, and also the Senate President, Karen Spilka, who have made VITA funding a priority. And as the representative said, they made it a priority because it is so important and because you call us to care about it. As folks have said, VITA is a triple win. It's a win for workers and families, returning these hard-earned dollars where they're needed most. It's a win for local and regional economies, and it's a win for the state. It's a massive return on investment. And you've heard the numbers this morning, and they really are staggering, staggering in how positive a program this is for our state in terms of where we put public dollars. VITA sites are low cost, and they return these tens of millions of dollars to the Commonwealth right back in to our state where they're needed most. I'm returning to the Massachusetts Senate, like my colleagues Rep. Lay and Rep. Dom, for a second session. And this session, like last session, I'll be filing legislation to expand the earned income tax credit because, like you, I believe that when people work, they should not live in poverty. And when our lowest income neighbors earn money, they should have tax breaks so that they can keep their hard-earned money as much as possible. That's why I want to increase the credit percentage, raise the age cap, lower the floor, make it possible for ITIN or ITIN holders to qualify, and charge the state with investing in robust education and outreach. I was inspired actually to file and develop this legislation by Claire and the tireless work of community action staff and the stories I've heard about the enormous impact of EITC and VITA in Western Massachusetts. And days like this, I'll just tell you, are critical. Marshaling people power and public focus in support of VITA is critical. I say this a lot, but government works best when people make us work. And your stories, and I would just want to echo what Replay said, your stories are the key to opening hearts and minds in support of this critical program. It's people power that's going to move Boston to continue to support VITA, and the call to action, the earn it, keep it, save it call to action, which I like so much. I'm so honored to work with you now and going forward. Thank you for allowing me a few moments.
Well, thank you.
If I can just thank Joe and Natalie and give a shout out as well to Mindy Dawn, who is the great state rep from Amherst, who has been a key partner in this work with us as well. We're very proud of our Western Mass delegation, and you can see why we are. And I also want to just thank the leader of the work here in my agency, Shannon Martineau, who runs our Money Matters program and has been really a champion of this program throughout our region, and has gotten banks to partner, gotten donors to partner so that we can expand the program as with both private dollars and the public dollars coming in. So thanks to our legislative delegation. And I think I'm turning it over to Paul Bailey. So Joe, back to you. So I'll step up.
Thank you very much. And we'll turn it over to Paul in a second, but I did also want to extend my thanks to Rep. Lay and Senator Comerford, who were so wonderful to work with, connecting with us sometimes on an hourly basis in terms of advocacy. And it's so appreciated that it was so clear to us that the both of you and your colleagues had embraced the power of the ITC and the importance of VITA. So we thank you very much. It really is the way, those of us who have been advocating for years and years, it is the way that it should work. So we very much thank you. I wanted to turn things over to Paul Bailey, who is the executive director of Springfield Partners for Community Action, to say a few words about the video message that we'll hear from Congressman Neal in a second. Paul, please. Oh, Paul, you are muted. Oh. Lisa, can you unmute Paul? Paul, I think you're muted.
I can only ask him to unmute. Paul, if you could unmute.
Oh, you can't unmute. Okay. Paul, can you hear us? If you can unmute.
Yeah. How am I now?
Very good. Now we can hear you.
Good.
Perfect.
I'm sorry for that technical issue. Thank you again for having this statewide program, and I want to thank Senator Comerford and Representative Blay for your words. It certainly was uplifting, and thank you for supporting the Volunteer Income Tax Assistance Program. Just a word about it. This is our 20th year. When I say our, I mean Springfield Partners for Community Action. It's our 20th year providing VITA services, and we average about 2,000 federal returns each year. So we've been heavily involved in the process and certainly believe in it. It's my pleasure this morning to introduce Congressman Richard Neal to this program. The Congressman has been certainly a champion as it relates to VITA and in the earned income tax credits. Anytime that I've ever asked him for any support or anything relative to EITC and VITA, he's been right there. And today he's going to speak a little bit about the power of EITC. So without anything further, if we could switch to the Congressman. Thank you.
Hello, MASSCAP, and a special greeting to my neighbors at the Springfield Partners for Community Action. It's a pleasure and always an honor to be able to address all of you today. I can't begin to tell you how much I respect the work that you do on behalf of all the people of the Commonwealth, and certainly those in Western Massachusetts. Last year, Springfield Partners VITA programs served nearly 2,300 low-income taxpayers and helped them secure $2 million in EITC refunds and over $3.8 million in total federal returns. I know that other members of MASSCAP have accomplished similar impressive results in every other corner of Massachusetts. What a sound contribution to our state and to our people. So I'm very glad to join you in kicking off this year's VITA program. Despite all of the challenges that the pandemic has thrown in our paths over the last year, we have adapted and learned how to continue to deliver critical tax preparation services to vulnerable members of our communities. I salute you and your commitment as well as your hard work. Everybody here understands what a critical lifeline tax preparation is for families struggling to make ends meet. We've just finished a terrible year. Many people will look back at 2020 as the hardest year of their lives. Some have lost loved ones, some have lost livelihoods, and some have lost both. Millions of hardworking people found themselves out of work and have spent this year in a state of perpetual anxiety over how they can afford rent and or groceries. Over the next few weeks, you'll be helping families like these to file their tax returns. And when their refund checks hit bank accounts, they'll finally get a chance to exhale. And of course, the reason for those tax refunds help so much, it's because they significantly bolster the earned income tax credit and the refundable child tax credit and their full intention. I've worked with many of you for years on expanding and improving EITC and CTC. I've benefited from your advice and real-life observations. Thank you for being such valuable partners. This year, in collaboration with President Biden, Speaker Pelosi, and my counterparts in the Senate, I believe we have a rare opportunity to shape these benefits to make them even more effective than ever before. That goal is one of my highest priorities as chairman of the House Ways and Means Committee. This moment demands nothing less. Over the past year, the pandemic has laid bare the economic struggles of millions of American families. But those of you who have been working for years with the VITA programs, you know all too well that families' financial struggles didn't start with the pandemic. Well before this public health crisis, millions of people in our country were working hard, but finding it nearly impossible to keep up with rent, childcare, utilities, groceries, and transportation costs. Wages have been flat for years, while necessities kept getting more expensive. Prior to COVID, over a third of Americans had little financial security that they would have been able to utilize even if they had an unanticipated $400 expense, and then the bottom fell out. Once the full force of the pandemic hit the economy in April of last year, the U.S. shed more than 20 million jobs, and the unemployment rate hit 14.7%, the highest level since the Great Depression. A quarter of U.S. adults say someone in their household was laid off or lost their job because of the coronavirus outbreak. A quarter of adults reported having had trouble paying their bills. 17% reported having received help from a food bank, and 1 in 6 have had problems making rent and mortgage payments. The recovery has been disappointing, it's been slow, and in most regards, it's been weak. 10 months into the pandemic, our economy is still almost 9 million jobs smaller than it was in February 2020. Unemployment in Massachusetts is still 7.4%, higher than the national rate of 6.7%. Last month, 30 million American households reported that they sometimes or often hadn't had enough to eat during the previous week, and 1 in 5 renting households report they're behind on that necessity. Families with children are having a particularly difficult time. Affordable childcare is hard to come by, and the lack of in-person schooling has forced millions of parents to adjust, cut back, or stop working outside the home. Today, about adults that are having trouble covering usual expenses. These statistics are heartbreaking, but more than that, they're unacceptable. These are our community members, our neighbors, friends, family, and kids. They deserve and should be able to count on help surviving this disaster. Programs like the Earned Income Tax Credit and the Child Tax Credit are an important part of that assistance. And every one of you will be helping people access that help. And for that, I applaud you and say thanks. The scale of the hardship around the country shows the urgency of passing more federal relief, which I expect we will. And it will emerge from the House Ways and Means Committee, which I'm working on right now and chair. Over the past year, my committee has prepared and approved stimulus checks, weekly supplemental federal unemployment benefits, and tax incentives for employers to hire and retain workers. Of course, we wanted to do more with the Earned Income Tax Credit and additional child credit. We eventually will do more. A lot of the challenges that we face in helping families that have experienced a loss of income during the pandemic are clear, and I hope that we can establish provisions allowing taxpayers to use their 2019 income this year. With President Biden taking office, we've begun negotiations on a more robust and effective, and I will do everything I can to ensure that my committee delivers tax relief for those who need it, including the people that you serve so well. As always, I want to invite you to be in touch with my staff while we develop these proposals, especially if you have ideas about how to improve them. In the past, we've received excellent feedback from VITA volunteers about how to make refundable credits work better for foster youth and mixed status families, for example. My door remains open to you, and I hope you will be able to offer us those valuable perspectives that you know so much about. With that, I want to leave each and every one of you with a heartfelt thank you again on behalf of the United States of America. VITA is an invaluable program that does immeasurable good for people who need it. Your work this season will ease families' financial burdens and remind them that they are part of a community that sincerely cares about them. Thank you, MASSCAP, for all it is that you do.
I was inspired to say thank you to the congressman, even though he can't hear me. I really appreciated those words. And Paul, thank you for reaching out to the congressman and his office. He is so articulate and provides that federal perspective.
So welcome.
Thank you very much. And in as much as that was a federal perspective, let me turn things over to our partners at the IRS, Ron Dayot, and he'll be turning things over briefly to Bob Allen, who is a taxpayer advocate. I wanted to thank the Partnership Office, the IRS Partnership Office, ahead of Ron speaking, because it has been invaluable to our ability to work across the state and continue to improve our practice through their help. When we first started this, it was surprising to learn that there was a and please take this in the right spirit, there was a part of the IRS that was helpful. But we learned so much that the partnership office is so helpful and really lives by the spirit of partnership and works that way too. So we wanted to thank our original core funders, our continuing core funders, for their help. And I wanted to ask Ron Dayat to join us. Ron, please.
Joe, I appreciate that wonderful introduction. It's a kind introduction, and I certainly appreciate our work with you and all of the community action agencies around the state. I really also want to thank the elected officials here today that took the time out of their busy schedules to help the IRS promote the Earned Income Tax Credit. It's been wonderful to hear the stories today from MASSCAP and the volunteers and the clients of the VITA program. It is really inspiring, so I do appreciate it. Joe, this year marks the 15th anniversary of the EITC Awareness Day. For over 45 years, EITC has aided low to moderate income taxpayers and families with a significant tax break and a much needed refund. The Earned Income Tax Credit is one of the federal government's largest anti-poverty programs, offering financial assistance to hardworking Americans. Here in Massachusetts, an estimated 364,000 eligible taxpayers received $777 million in EITC last year. That's an average of $2,131 per family. It's a lot of money added to the Massachusetts economy, but more importantly, it's money for eligible workers and families who are struggling to pay their bills or to put food on the table. Events like this EITC Awareness Day help promote a benefit that millions of American workers have earned, but might not have otherwise heard of. People ask why IRS promotes EITC Awareness Day every year, and my response is here. In Massachusetts, approximately 22% of eligible taxpayers do not claim the credit. Therefore, it's important that we remind families and workers about the Earned Income Tax Credit. We understand that lives, incomes, and personal circumstances change every year, and people move in and out of qualifying for the EITC. Many workers and families may be eligible for the credit if their earned income was less than $57,000 last year. However, under the Taxpayer Certainty and Disaster Tax Relief Act of 2020, which was just signed into law last month, taxpayers have the option of using their 2019 earned income to calculate their 2020 Earned Income Tax Credit, if that option is beneficial to them. We hope that this legislation allows more hardworking families to claim the credit. IRS understands the eligibility requirements for EITC can be intimidating or complex, and I want to encourage everyone to take advantage of the free tax preparation services offered by IRS and our partner organizations, certainly the VITA Income Tax Assistance Program and the Tax Counseling for the Elderly Program. They're both staffed by highly qualified IRS certified volunteers who will prepare and electronically file your taxes for free. Many of our sites offer virtual help this year, either over the phone or online. We heard Ansel talk about going virtual this year. However, for sites that offer in-person assistance, social distancing protocols will be emphasized. If you're looking for a VITA site, you can check the VITA Locator tool on irs.gov to find a site that's open near you. We want all eligible taxpayers to claim the credit, but I must also stress that the IRS cannot issue refunds before mid-February of this year. IRS must hold the entire refund, even the portion not associated with the credit. We understand that this refund is important to many workers and families, so we encourage you to check the status of your refund by using the Where's My Refund tool on irs.gov or the IRS to Go mobile application. Also remember, the quickest way to claim and file your taxes is, the quickest way to receive your refund is to have it direct deposited into your bank account. Joe, on behalf of the IRS, I want to again express my appreciation for your commitment and MASSCAP's commitment to raising awareness of the Earned Income Tax Credit. Thank you to MASSCAP and all the participating community action agencies across the state for supporting VITA and for helping workers and families claim the Earned Income Tax Credit. We really do appreciate it and appreciate all the enthusiasm here today for Earned Income Tax Credit and VITA. And that's it from me, Joe. I'd like to introduce the next speaker from IRS. His name is Robert Allen. He's from the IRS Taxpayer Advocate Service. Bob?
Thanks, Ron. I am Bob Allen. I'm the local taxpayer advocate in Boston. Massachusetts actually has two local taxpayer advocates. We also have one in Andover, and that's Jacqueline Wright. But I'm here to speak for both of us. The Taxpayer Advocate Service is an independent organization located within the Internal Revenue Service. So the IRS pays me, but we maintain independence by reporting up to Congress as opposed to up the executive branch. And we look out for taxpayers. I oversee an office that has many, not many, but 9 case advocates, and they work to assist individuals with their problems with the IRS. Basically, anyone who has in a severe hardship situation, we try to assist, or anyone that has a longstanding problem with the IRS. The easiest way to contact or get someone, get a case created in the advocate service, and there is certain criteria. If you don't have a hardship or a longstanding problem, they'll ask you to work directly with the IRS. But to get a case set up, you can call the IRS taxpayer advocate line. The toll-free line is 877-777-4778. That's 877-777-4778. Or you can call one of our local lines. When you call the local lines, unfortunately, they're not staffed in the office right now due to COVID. So you're probably going to leave a voice message and have someone call you back. But the local lines, the Andover line is 978-805-0745. That's 978-805-0745. And the Boston line is 617-316-2690. That's 617-316-2690. Okay, and the other way to contact the IRS to get a case opened up would be, the taxpayer advocate, sorry, would be to fax in a form 911, where you put down your information as well as what the problem is. And you can fax those forms. The fax number for Andover is 855-807-9700. That's 805-807-9700. And the Boston fax number is 855-836-9626. That's 855-836-9626. And I will let you know, our office is very, very, very busy. Unfortunately, we like to tell people that we're going to contact them within 3 days. We're not making those timeframes. COVID put a big problem with the IRS, and we inherited it. So unfortunately, my case advocates are all trying to help about 200 people at the same time, which is about 3 times the cases they normally have this time of year. It's going to be a very difficult season. Just a quick plug, if you want, I am more than available to come out and speak to any of your organizations via Zoom or on a conference call or anything like that. I can't come out in person, needless to say, right now. But I am available. Feel free to give me a phone call if you would like that. My phone number is 617-316-2625. And just a little heads up, when you're doing those tax returns in VITA this year, please, 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 before you electronically submit those tax returns, ask the taxpayers if they got health insurance through the marketplace. And if they did, make sure that you see their 1095-A and fill out the form 8962, because it is a huge problem with the IRS, and it will delay a refund by at least 6 months. That's all I got. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yeah, we is also a sort of a pleasant revelation to know that there was a taxpayer advocate office. So thank you, Bob. Let's return to the state level, and it's my pleasure to ask Richard Sheward, who is the director of Innovative Partnerships at Children's Health Watch, but is also directing and coordinating the Healthy Families EITC Coalition, which I can't say enough about its role in spreading the word about the importance of EITC and VITA and advocacy for VITA and EITC on the state level. So Richard, please join us.
Thanks, Joe. Good morning, everyone. It's great to be here with you virtually on EITC Awareness Day. I like to call EITC one of the most effective public health interventions that you've never heard of. And partially it's through the work of the Massachusetts Healthy Families EITC Coalition and our invaluable partners at MASSCAP, dozens of stakeholder organizations across the state that participate in our work, and my colleagues at Children's Health Watch, that we've been able to make the case that EITC is one of the best public health interventions available to us. We all know public health is at the forefront of our minds these days. And by reducing poverty and increasing incomes for working families, the EITC actually promotes positive health outcomes, particularly for infants and mothers. The research demonstrates that the Earned Income Tax Credit enhances maternal-child protective factors that can help reduce the negative effects of financial and other stressors on children and their families. And through better birth outcomes, better health, and better educational attainment, that's why the EITC is such a great tool. In fact, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention's High Five initiative has identified EITCs as one of the 14 key evidence-based interventions that is both cost-effective and can improve health in 5 years or less. And I've just pasted a link to the CDC's EITC Public Health Action Guide. There's great research and resources in there. And even the work done here in Massachusetts gets a nice shout out as well. However, as we've heard today, 1 in 5 taxpayers, 20%, do not receive the EITC benefit because they either don't know about it or they don't know how to find tax help that they can trust. And so that's why it's so important that we continue to work together to ensure a strong and robust network of VITA sites across the Commonwealth of Massachusetts so that families are able to access this credit as well as other working family tax credits that will benefit them and their families. So I want to thank all the work that MASSCAP does, the work of our elected officials and legislative champions here today, and all of you for the work that you do. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Rich. Again, it's really a pleasure to be joining you and the coalition, which has so many partners across the state. Other coalitions, other associations are part of this statewide group, which continues to refine and enlarge its work. We are on time and under budget a little bit, and I just wanted to open the floor for a few minutes. We're not quite at the magic 60-minute Zoom hour that we're finding. If anybody has any questions, please feel free to speak up, I think. I was going to say raise your hand, but you can speak up if you want. And that is understandable because it was a very complete presentation. Again, we want to thank everybody for joining us. We will continue this work. We will do our very best to bring the power of the EITC to the people that we serve through free tax preparation, and we will continue to work with our legislative champions and our allies to continue to tell this story. And I also in particular want to thank not only Representative Blais, Senator Comerford, but a volunteer, Susan, and where is Nari still here, but Nari as well, our client. Thanks again, and we will see you soon. Oh, and thanks everybody for doing something in the chat. We've got some good information in there, so take a look at that as well. What we'll do is we'll send this around to people too.
Thanks,
Thank you
Joe.
all.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you.
Have a
Bye.
very
Thank
good
you.
day. Take care.
You.